Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm Timothy alongside Sergio. Sergio, welcome.
Hey Tim, hey everybody.
Yes, welcome back, guys. Last week we were off. Now, that was my fault. I was sick. I tried my best, couldn't record, so sorry for that. But we're back. We're back giving out our picks and leans for the upcoming weekend. If you're new to the show, we are giving out picks for five different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, and the Eredivisie. Like I said, we were off last week, so nothing to recap. Please smash the like button. Also, if you're new to the show, subscribe. Um, Anything to discuss? Things that happened last week? Sergio, how were the Champions League games?
Champions League games were pretty good actually. I expected a little bit more from Real.
As
Uh,
we all did.
yeah, I expected the same like Dortmund did. Dortmund they tried, but it wasn't enough. Yeah, Real Madrid. A little bit disappointing, I'd say.
Yeah, but I think there are some great matchups coming in the semifinals. So, um, of course, we're looking forward to that. All right, now let's get started. Today we are starting with the Serie A. First game on the schedule: Lecce hosting Como. Lecce wins set at 3.85. Como wins set at 2.08. Line for goal set at 2.5. Now listen, man, I don't like betting this game. Two teams I don't like putting my money on. I was slightly lean towards Lecce just because they need points to secure safety. Only 2 points above the drop right now. Como doesn't really need to win the game, they're safe. So that's one reason I'm leaning towards Lecce, but they're so awful. I really can't really make this a bet. Are you doing something here?
No, no, I agree.
Next up, Monza hosting Napoli. Monza wins set at 14. Napoli wins set at 1.27. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, not much to say about this game. All right, Monza's already relegated. They've given up, as we saw last week. So you gotta go for Napoli here, but odds are low, so you may want to look at halftime, full time. Inter has a tough matchup this week, so Napoli, you want to keep the pressure. Maybe they come out on fire, already scoring the first half. Monza really shouldn't put up much of a fight against Napoli. So, are you doing something here?
No, I don't think they'll put up a fight at all. So I'm gonna skip this game also.
All right. Next up, Roma hosting Hellas Verona. Roma wins set at 1.44. Verona wins set at 9. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Verona also a team, they're 6 points above the drop. So not safe yet, but it would mean like Venezia or Empoli would have to win at least three, possibly four out of the next six games. Really unlikely. So I guess Verona safe. AS Roma only 2 points behind Lazio, so still battling for an Conference League or even Europa League if they were to catch Bologna. So I like Roma here. Odds 144, not great, I get it, but I got Roma here. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, both teams to score, Roma win. That that's my play for this game. I think Hellas Verona will still try to at least get a draw out of it. So
Uh, Goal scoring, something notable in this game. Last four games, Roma scored exactly one goal. So four goals over the last four games. Hellas Verona, they've scored two goals total over the last four games. Maybe they get a goal here. Doesn't seem like they're really in a goal scoring form. All right. Next up, Empoli hosting Venezia. Empoli wins set at 2.35. Venezia wins set at 3.7. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, these two teams battling here, relegation. Um, I guess you gotta go with the home team here. You can't really be confident in either team. They're just awful. But I guess in a spot like this, you gotta go with the home team. And if you look at how the first matchup actually played out, Empoli was a little bit better. I know we're much later in the season right now, but Empoli played a little bit better. Now they're at home. What are you doing?
Yeah, the last four games these two played against each other, three of them were draws, just 1-1. And honestly, I think this game is, gonna end up the same. None of them want to lose. I think they're gonna be afraid to concede the first goal. So yeah, I don't expect a lot from this game.
All right. I would agree that a draw is very likely in these types of games. Neither team wants to lose. I get it. So a draw very likely. I'm leaning towards Empoli. They're the home team. You know, fans and maybe rally for the home team. They sneak out the win here, knowing that this may be one of the last chances to escape relegations. All right. Next up, Bologna hosting Inter. Bologna wins set at 3.6. Inter wins set at 2.25. Line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, Inter obviously the better team here. Bologna top five team, so they're having a good season. But Inter still the better team. But the thing is, Inter had a rough week. You know, you first, of course, you play at Bayern. Of course, they won, so good. Come home, host Cagliari, another win. Then they host Bayern, another tough game with Bayern. Really put up a fight, and they had some chances at the end. You know, to maybe push it into overtime. So I think it was a rough week for Inter. Now you go on the road against Bologna. I think this is a tough spot. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I think Bologna playing at home, and also they lost against Atalanta, but yeah, that was an away game. Um, and I think now against Inter, I'm gonna try to get some points again because I think they need it more than Inter at the moment.
No, I wouldn't say that. Like Inter's only 3 points above Napoli, so if Inter wants to win in the Scudetto, you know you got to win all your remaining games, especially Napoli going on the road against Monza. That's like you can book those 3 points actually. So if Inter were to lose, now they're leveled with Napoli, so um, obviously still in control to win the league, but Inter. They they'll come out on fire here, but I think it will be a tough spot just because of the last 2 weeks that they had, and Bologna should have the advantage here at home. I like Bologna. Play the Bologna double chance. You still get some great value. What's your play for this game?
I would just go for Bologna. Just
Just the
go,
Bologna win, right?
yeah, playing at home. Yeah, yeah. I think Bologna still believes that they can, maybe go for a Champions League spot.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I agree there. All right. Next up, AC Milan hosting Atalanta. AC Milan wins set at 2.7. Atalanta wins set at 2.8. So almost a pick 'em. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, both of these teams, they didn't have a great stretch the last 5 games. Bounced back last week with a much needed win. Atalanta winning against Bologna. AC Milan winning against Udinese. Now, I will say Atalanta won very early. They went up 2-0 in that game, and that was basically the game. But after the 2-0, Bologna actually played better. So I didn't really like what I saw from Atalanta. So I won't trust them going on the road here, but also have a hard time backing AC Milan, given what I've seen over the past few weeks. What are you doing here?
yeah, I was leaning more. Actually, I was leaning towards Atalanta. I still think Atalanta is the better team. It's not for nothing they're standing third in the league. I think AC Milan has a more disappointing season than Atalanta. So
Yeah, well,
I
obviously
would
that's a
go with
fact.
Atalanta.
Atalanta sitting third, in full control to qualify for a Champions League spot. AC Milan, 51 points, ninth, 5 points behind Lazio. So it's basically over for them. So I would agree. I would lean towards Atalanta here, just because they have a lot more to play for. Only 2 points above Juventus, only 4 points above Bologna. So you want to keep winning and make sure you don't fall out of the Champions League spot. So I like Atalanta here, but I'm gonna play Atalanta over 1.5 goals, just in case AC Milan puts up a fight at home, scores some goals. So uh, Atalanta over 1.5 goals. That will be my play here. All right. Next up, Torino hosting Udinese. Um, man, it's a game where both of these teams don't really have anything to play for. So I'm kind of skipping that game. Are you doing something there?
Yeah, I'm joining you actually.
All right. Next up, Cagliari hosting Fiorentina. Cagliari wins set at 3.15. Fiorentina wins set at 2.5. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Cagliari 6 points above Venezia and Empoli, another team. So not safe just yet. And especially with Empoli and Venezia facing off, one team maybe likely to win. Now you're only 3 points clear of the drop. So um, I would say Cagliari has something to play for in this game. Fiorentina, 3 points behind Lazio, challenging for that last Conference League spot or maybe Europa League if they were to catch Bologna. So both teams have something to play for. So I'm gonna play both teams to score here because I don't really trust either team to win this game. Cagliari, I don't think they're good enough, and Fiorentina, coming off the Conference League game on Thursday. I know they advanced. So I'm gonna play both teams to score here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was looking at the over 2.5. I still think Fiorentina has a bigger chance of winning. Both teams to score, Fiorentina win, or just the over 2.5. But I think it's gonna be one of those.
All right. Actually, not a bad play for this game. All right. Next up, Genoa hosting Lazio. Genoa wins set at 3.65. Lazio wins set at 2.25. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Lazio kind of a disappointing exit of the Europa League. Um, so now they shift their focus to the league, looking to maybe get up to that Champions League spot, a top four spot, only 3 points behind Juventus. Now, I don't like that they played on Thursday, kind of a short turnaround, but they do play on Monday, so a little bit more rest. And they were at home, so no travel. I know they play into extra time, so that gives me some concern. But Genoa sitting 12th here, 39 points, very comfortable, no danger of falling into the relegation zone. So Genoa nothing to play for. Also a team that doesn't really score the ball. 29 goals scored in 32 games. So I like Lazio here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going for a Lazio win.
All right, nothing to add.
No,
All right.
it's gonna be a simple game this one.
All right.
Pick.
All right. No, that's also good. All right. Next up, Parma hosting Juventus. Parma wins set at 5. Juventus wins set at 1.79. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, after Juventus hired the new coach, three straight games now without a loss. Um, they've they haven't played that well. The last game against Lecce, they played good, very good, but I don't know if that had more to do with Lecce than anything else. Now on the road against a Parma team who also needs a couple more points to really assure safety. I think it will be a tough game here. I'm still leaning towards Juventus because, of course, they're the better team overall, have the better players, and Parma, for some reason, they just don't seem to win games. Like only one win in the last, 20 games. So um, it was a good win against Bologna at home. But other than that, if you go even further, the last 30 games, two wins, one against Bologna and the one against Monza. So I don't really trust Parma here. I'm still going to go for Juventus. What are you doing?
Actually, I don't trust Juventus either. Yeah, they got a new coach, 3 games without a loss, but still just one goal scoring. Just one goal scored against Genoa. Against Lecce, it was, wasn't that great also. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a draw again. I think Juventus still has problems winning away games. Parma needs the points, so I'm going for a draw.
All right. Now that wraps up the Serie A. Let's get to La Liga. First game, Rayo hosting Valencia. Rayo wins set at 2.33. Valencia wins set at 3.45. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now listen, Valencia for some reason they caught fire over the last 6 games. Now if they were to if they had that pace from the start of the season, they probably would be challenging for the title right now. But listen, for some reason, it only happened the last 6 games. Even beating Real Madrid 2 weeks ago. Uh,
Yeah,
so they're on a roll here. But I will say this: I'm still gonna back Rayo here. I know Rayo only one win in the last 5 games. Valencia, it seems like they're hot. First of all, Valencia, their wins most of them came at home. The only win that came away was the Real Madrid game where they scored in the 95th minute to win that game. And that was a very questionable game. So all of the other wins came at home. Rayo, um, Rayo's playing at home right now. They lost their last home game 4-0 against Espanyol. So they want to bounce back here. I'm not gonna trust Valencia on the road. I know they're hot. Still, give me Rayo. What are you doing?
I'm gonna trust Valencia. Uh, First of all, the odd and Valencia, come on, they're on fire at the moment, and I think their ambition is to enter the top 10, and this is a perfect chance for them beating Rayo, and they enter the top 10, and I think it's gonna happen this weekend. So I'm on Valencia.
Yeah, I don't know, top 10. All right, I guess doesn't really matter. You don't get a trophy for that. That's one. And second of all, like I said,
For a team like Valencia, I think to start next season, with a good feeling. I think ending in outside of the top 10 or in the top 10 makes a big difference.
all right. I think it also matters for Rayo. They know Valencia's on their heels. They're at home. And like I said, Valencia, the only away win was against Real Madrid. So give me Rayo. All right. Next up, Barcelona hosting Celta. Barcelona wins set at 1.29. Celta wins set at 9. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Barcelona, of course, coming off a loss against Dortmund in midweek, but still advancing. Now in the league, only 4 points above Real, with 7 games to go. So, like it's a tough task for Real. But listen, at least Real out of the Champions League right now, so can focus on the league. While Barcelona, no, they still have to. They still feel like they can win both. So obviously focusing on the Champions League and the league. Um, but you're gonna have to win this game. You're at home. You're hosting Celta. I know Celta's sitting seventh right now, and they want to keep that spot, the Europa League spot. But Barcelona at home, they should bounce back from the loss against Dortmund. They've been great at home all season. I do think Celta gets a goal, so Barcelona wins. Both teams to score. What are you doing here?
I think, and I also think they saved up their energy against Dortmund. They didn't play the same way they played 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna back Barcelona also, and maybe maybe a goal for Celta Vigo, but Barcelona win.
All right. Next up, Mallorca hosting Leganes. Um, this man, Mallorca, they're sitting eighth, Leganes in 19th. So, um, guess they both have something to play for. Mallorca trying to hold on to that last Conference League spot, or maybe get up to Europa League, and Leganes trying to get out of relegation zone. Um, so Leganes has a little bit more to play for, but I'm not trusting them. but I also have a hard time trusting Mallorca. I'm just gonna lean towards Mallorca because the odds kind of tell you like Mallorca 1.88, Leganes 5.2. Like for a team that has that much to play for and you still get an odds for 5.2, that just tells you they're not gonna win this game. So I'm gonna lean towards Mallorca here. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, maybe the over 2.5, but I lean towards Mallorca. I want your side.
All right. Next up, Las Palmas hosting Atletico Madrid. Las Palmas wins set at 6. Atletico Madrid wins set at 1.56. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, listen, Atletico Madrid, it seems like they've given up. Um, they don't think they can win the league anymore. The last game against Real Valladolid, kind of concerning. Falling behind 1-0. I know they scored two quick goals, but then Valladolid came back and made it 2-2, so made it somewhat of an interesting game. So I'm not gonna trust Athletic Madrid going on the road here. Uh, Las Palmas, they have something to play for. So I'm gonna back both teams to score here at 1.86 because Las Palmas is sitting 18th right now, only 1 point behind Alaves. So they feel like they should get points at home and climb out of the relegation zone. Could make it tough here for Atletico Madrid. So give me both teams to score. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think Athletic Madrid, they also feel like they don't have anything to play for anymore. And so yeah, Las Palmas, I think this will end in a draw also.
All right. Next up, Valladolid hosting Osasuna. Valladolid wins set at 4.7. Osasuna wins set at 1.83. Line total goals set at 2.5. Now, Osasuna not playing for anything. Neither is Valladolid. Valladolid is just flat out awful. Um, Listen, man, nothing. The only one way you can go in this game, and that's backing Osasuna, but with so little left to play for, not really backing them in a road game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, and the over 2.5 is a little bit too much for these two teams. So yeah, maybe both teams to score also.
Yeah, that's an interesting look. Although I have a hard time trusting Valladolid in scoring goals. Although they did score two against Atletico Madrid last week, but still not a very high scoring team to say the least. All right. Next up, Villarreal hosting Sociedad. Villarreal wins set at 1.71. Real Sociedad wins set at 5.1. Line total goals set at 2.5. Now, Villarreal, they're the team that's in better form at the moment. Three straight games without a loss. A good win against Betis last week, while Real Sociedad fell flat against Mallorca at home, not even scoring a goal. Um, Listen, before that, I know Sociedad had won three straight games, if you want to call it that, because the one against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey, okay, they won that game, but didn't advance. So I wouldn't really count that as a win. So other than that, they've won two games against Las Palmas and Real Valladolid, two teams in the relegation zone. This is a different story here on the road against Villarreal. Give me Villarreal. What are you doing?
Yeah. Over 2.5. I'm going for the over 2.5. Villarreal, at winning, sitting at 1.7. That will happen, but both teams to score and Villarreal win or over 2.5. I'm going for it.
Not a bad spot. Real Sociedad not scoring last week. I guess they could get a goal here on the road. But Sociedad, not really a team you really trust to score goals. They average less than a goal a game. So, um, like, not gonna put my money on a team like that scoring goals. All right. Next up, Sevilla hosting Alaves. Sevilla wins set at 2.1. Alaves wins set at 4.4. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Also, man, the over 2.5 is sitting at 2.65 and under 2.5 at 1.45. So it's definitely going under 2.5. And if you know these two teams, you know it's going under 2.5 goals. So that's the play here. Sevilla on a bad stretch here, four straight games with a loss. But they've had some tough opponents, call it that, against Athletic Bilbao, Real Betis team that was very good in form, Atletico Madrid, and Valencia team that also in pretty good form. Alaves also not in great form. 2 wins in the last 5 games. But listen, man, Sevilla at home, they're not completely safe yet. So at home, they should bounce back here after 4 straight losses against a team like Alaves. I got Sevilla here winning the game, probably a 1-0 game, but I can also see a 1-1 draw here. So the under 2.5, or Sevilla wins this game. What are you doing?
Sevilla was on a roll also, before the 4 games they lost. But from these two, Sevilla and Valencia, I always thought Sevilla would be, the one ending the season, a little bit higher on the table, but no, it went the other way. So yeah, I think this game is going to be a difficult one for Sevilla. 4 games or four defeats the last 4 games. So yeah, no confidence at all. I think I don't see them winning.
Yeah, but you can't come out flat in this game, losing against Alaves and no, really getting. I know it's unlikely for Las Palmas to pick up 8 points in the last 7 games, but you really can't risk that if you're Sevilla. You really want to win and make sure you're absolutely safe for in La Liga next season. So at home, I believe they will do just that. All right. Next up, Real Madrid hosting Athletic Bilbao. Real wins set at 1.68. Athletic Bilbao wins set at 5.2. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, listen, I know, I know Real's not in great form. I know they've lost 4 of the last 5. They got knocked out of the Champions League. I get it. Sneaky win against Alaves last weekend. I get it, but this is getting too disrespectful. 1.68 Real at home after a loss, after such a bad stretch. They're still in race for the title. Give me Real at 1.68. I really like them here. And last week also, Real. I had a quick look at the odds. Real going at Alaves was also above 1.6. I was like, they're just absolutely crazy. Give me Real here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also on Real, but I'm going for the over 2.5. Real wins, but Athletic Bilbao is gonna score a goal.
All right. Next up, Girona hosting Real Betis. Girona wins set at 2.95. Betis wins set at 2.5. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Betis coming off their Thursday game. Um, so short turnaround here. I know they get some rest. It's a Monday game, but still kind of a short turnaround. Girona not in great form, 3 straight losses. But they're also a team that's just above the drop and really needs to start picking up points. So I think they have the advantage here in that game. Of course, the rest advantage, and they're playing at home. And like we said 2 weeks ago, you see these teams, lowly teams, start catching fire because they're in danger of getting relegated. So Betis going on the road after losing to Villarreal last week and having the Thursday game. I'm leaning towards Girona here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bet on this game. Yeah, I don't know. Girona, for me, it looks like a draw. Actually, Girona really needs the points, and Real Betis, yeah, are they still playing for something? Yeah, maybe the Europa League, but yeah, that they'll get.
All right. Now that wraps up La Liga. Let's get to the Premier League. First game, West Ham hosting Southampton. West Ham wins set at 1.49. Southampton wins set at 7. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, Southampton, obviously not a great team. Sorry, West Ham, obviously not a great team. Just 17th, one spot above the drop. A 14-point gap with Ipswich. So there's a big gap between the three teams that are in the relegation zone
Yeah.
and and the first and 17 in the league. So
Yeah,
and Southampton is just the worst of those. So there's not much to say about this game. Just West Ham winning. What are you doing?
yeah, 25 points the difference between number 20 and number 17. So yeah, I think it's also a West Ham win. Southampton, they're already relegated, so not much to say.
All right. Next up, Everton hosting Manchester City. Everton wins set at 4. City wins set at 1.98. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, this is another game where I think it's just getting too disrespectful. City at 1.98. Um, they're sitting fifth right now, only 1 point above Chelsea, so they have to keep winning to qualify for the Champions League. And listen, man, as bad as the season went, I have a hard time seeing City not making the Champions League. Everton, a team not playing for anything, maybe spoiling City's hopes, but other than that, not really anything. I think it's just too disrespectful here. 1.98 for City. I got City. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, you have to go for City and you're gonna even try to over 2.5 here also, because you just know City, although they're gonna win, but Everton sure gonna score a goal. So yeah, over 2.5 or just the City win. Yeah, because Everton they always seem to have a little bit extra when they play against the big teams. Winning against Forest also. So yeah, it's they'll do their best.
Yeah, well, against City, they haven't had much luck. Nine straight wins at Everton for City. Last two games, 3-1 win, 3-0 win. City has scored 3 goals at least and 4 times in the last nine at Everton. So I think obviously it won't be a cakewalk, but you saw what City's capable of. They go down 2-0 against Crystal Palace and end up winning the game 5-2. So there's still a lot of talent there. So give me City. All right. Next up, Brentford hosting Brighton. Brentford wins set at 2.65. Brighton wins set at 2.7. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, both of these teams kind of on a rough stretch here. Um, I think it's worse for Brighton because they drew against Leicester City last week, a 2-2 draw. And
Yeah.
in these times, if you draw against Leicester City, um, I don't think things could really get any worse. So Brentford only,
No, losing against Southampton is also one of them.
yeah,
That's
that
worse.
may be worse, but Leicester City was on just a bad stretch. I think it was like 10 games without a goal. Now they go at Brighton and score 2 goals, so that wasn't good for Brighton. They would want to bounce back here. Brentford also, like I said, 1 win in the last five, so at home want to win a game again. But both of these teams not really playing for anything. Number 10 and number 11. So I think it will be kind of an open game. Both teams kind of playing freely. So I like the over 2.5 goals here. What are you doing?
No, I'm just gonna gamble on Brentford. They're playing at home, like you said, nothing to play for. I think they'll just want to entertain their fans. So open game, like you said, and Brentford win.
Yeah, and that's why I like the over 2.5. But I kind of also understand why you're going for Brentford. Brighton, after drawing against Leicester City, going on the road now, shouldn't be a lot of confidence. All right. Next up, Crystal Palace hosting Bournemouth. Crystal Palace wins set at 2.75. Bournemouth wins set at 2.65. A line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, things are really bad for Palace at the moment. They had a good run, but now back-to-back games where they allowed 5 goals in each game, a 5-2 loss against City after going up 2-0, and a 5-0 loss against Newcastle United midweek. So confidence not high. And I think Bournemouth will build on that. So I'm gonna back Bournemouth here. I like Bournemouth over 1.5 goals. I don't think Palace has really tightened up their defense just yet. I know they're playing at home now. Still, Bournemouth won against Fulham, so after a rough stretch, so got some confidence back. And they're a team that usually scores 2 goals in their game. So give me Bournemouth. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not going for Bournemouth. I'm just Crystal Palace. I'm just on Crystal Palace. They lost against Newcastle and they lost against City. Those are two you know good teams. So um, before that, they were always the last I think 6 7 games before the two that they lost were pretty good also. So now they're playing at home. I think Bournemouth is gonna be in a little bit of trouble.
All right. I like Bournemouth over 1.5 goals. All right, next up, Villa hosting Newcastle United. Villa win set at 2.43. Newcastle win set at 2.9. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Yes, man, 2.5 is just too low for this game. Villa, they scored at least 2 goals in 7 of the last 8 games. The only one they didn't score at least 2 goals was the 3-1 loss against PSG. Newcastle also on a roll here. The last 5 games scored at least 2 goals. Last 3 games, at least 3 goals. Of course, 5-0 win against Palace, 4-1 against Manchester United. So both teams are really in form here in terms of scoring goals. I know Villa got knocked out of the Champions League by PSG, but still they won at home, fought back, scored 3 goals. Very impressive. Give me the over 2.5 in this game. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think I'll just go for Villa. Newcastle, 6 wins in a row. It has to end somewhere, and I think it's gonna be Villa away. So,
Yeah,
and
well, Villa Park always a tough place to play. So
yeah,
I can understand that. All right. Next up, Ipswich hosting Arsenal. Ipswich wins set at 8. Arsenal wins set at 1.43. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, we already kind of touched on this. Ipswich 18th, the gap between number 18 and number 17, 14 points. So we don't even have to look at the gap between Arsenal and Ipswich. Arsenal, of course, all their focus should be on the Champions League. Um, but listen, man, even if they come out here with not their strongest lineup, they should run away in this game. So Arsenal should win this game. Give me Arsenal. What are you doing?
yeah, I agree. I also want Arsenal win. Over 2.5, also possible, but just go for a win.
Yes. All right. Next up, United hosting Wolves. United win set at 2.35. Wolves win set at 3.5, 3.35. A line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, listen, I know United, they won against Olympique Lyon on Thursday. Bad spot for them, playing in that many minutes, playing extra time, while Wolves will be fully rested. And Wolves is in good form, 4 straight wins. I know three of those wins came against some lowly teams: Southampton, West Ham, and Ipswich. Last one against Tottenham, but where Tottenham kind of rotated with their lineup. So the 4 straight wins are a bit inflated. But listen, man, it's better than what United's putting on tape. So I'm gonna back Wolves here. I also like the over 2.5 goals in this game, but United at home, don't care. I'm not putting my money on United for the rest of the season. I'm backing Wolves here. What are you doing?
Yeah. Do you realize that United, they're not going to play European football next season? It's, it's a 14
They're,
at the
they're
moment.
far from that.
Yeah, yeah, it's hitting 14th at the moment. But I would go for the over 2.5. And Wolves win, yes, I think so, but I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go for the over 2.5.
Next up, Fulham hosting Chelsea. Fulham wins set at 2.88. Chelsea wins set at 2.55. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Oh, this is another game where I'm just gonna play the over 2.5. Now Chelsea has something to play for, but they've had something to play for in the last four games and only one win against Legia Warsaw. Um, this man a 0-0 draw against Brentford, a 2-2 draw against Ipswich at home, and then also losing at home against Warsaw on Thursday. This man Chelsea, I'm not gonna back them for a win here. Also, this is a derby, so you know crazy things can happen. I'm just gonna go for the over 2.5. What are you doing here?
I think you just said it. This is the derby, and yeah, and derby, Fulham at home. Chelsea, in a little bit of trouble at the moment. Can't seem to find their sweet spot. So yeah, I'm going for a Fulham win, only because it's a derby and Fulham is playing at home. I think they won the other derby, against Arsenal, was it? They won, or against Tottenham? No, no, it was
Yeah,
Tottenham.
they won against
Yeah,
Tottenham.
yeah, yeah, Tottenham. So I think they wanna win another derby here.
Yeah, I understand. Like I said, it's a derby. You said it also, but Fulham against Chelsea, they haven't had much success at home. Since 2006, only one win at home against Chelsea. So even though it's a derby, they haven't had that much success. I'm just gonna stick with the over 2.5 goals here. All right. Next up, Leicester City hosting Liverpool, and obviously we don't even have to talk about the odds or anything. Liverpool will win this game. Are you doing something here?
Yeah, yes, maybe 0-4, 0-5, maybe, but no, it's Liverpool win.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe look at Liverpool's total goals and over 2 goals, over 3 goals. They should rout in this game.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Tottenham hosting Nottingham Forest. Tottenham wins set at 2.45. Forest wins set at 2.85. A line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, last week, Tottenham rotated. Uh, Kind of paid off because they went at Frankfurt and won the game and qualified for the next round. I'm not sure how much they will rotate here. They're at home now and will be looking to bounce back. But still, listen, man, Nottingham Forest is the better team, right? I know they're on the road, but still, uh, sitting fourth right now, I think they should be very motivated to keep a Champions League spot here. Tottenham team coming off a road game on Thursday. You just gotta back Nottingham Forest here, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm also backing Nottingham here. Um, and Tottenham, I think they're maybe focusing on the European matches, but yeah, I'm on Forest.
All right. Now that wraps up the Premier League. Let's get to the Bundesliga. First game, Leipzig hosting Holstein Kiel. Leipzig wins set at 1.34. Kiel wins set at 8. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now Leipzig, after hiring the new coach, now two straight wins, scored 3 goals in both games and looked pretty dominant. Kiel obviously last place, um, should pick up at least 5 points in the next, what's it, 3 games? No, sorry, next 5 games. If they want to have a shot at the playoffs. I think that's unlikely. I don't think they're going on the road and picking up points here at Leipzig. So just give me Leipzig for a win. What are you doing?
Yeah, Leipzig for a win, but a little bit too low of odds.
Yeah, the odds and not great value, but Leipzig should win at 1.34. Maybe parlay it with another team. But Leipzig sitting fourth right now. They've kind of had a rough season, but still fourth. So qualifying for the Champions League and holding on to that spot would be a huge success for them this season. All right, next up, and this is a game you can parlay it with. Heidenheim hosting Bayern Munich. Heidenheim wins set at 10. Bayern Munich wins set at 1.3. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now Bayern got knocked out of the Champions League by Inter. So all their focus shift to the league only 6 points above Leverkusen. So although it's unlikely for Leverkusen to pass Bayern, um, you can't drop points here because if you drop points, now Leverkusen starts smelling blood, and last couple of games you don't know what could happen. So um, Bayern knows they should come out on fire here. Give me Bayern for a win, and maybe even a halftime, full time for Bayern. What are you doing?
Yeah, because Bayern they haven't won, in the last three games. Although it was okay against Dortmund and two times against Inter. Yeah, but still, they really need this win. So I'm on Bayern also.
All right. Next up, Werder Bremen hosting Bochum. Bremen wins set at 1.76. Bochum wins set at 4.5. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, Bremen, technically, they still have a chance for that Conference League spot. Only 3 points behind Freiburg, but they also have Dortmund and Gladbach. They're also looking up at Dortmund and Gladbach, so kind of unlikely. Bochum sitting 17th. They need 3 points to pass Heidenheim. Um, so they have something to play for. But listen, man, 2 weeks ago, I took a flyer on Bochum at home against Stuttgart. They just got absolutely the teeth kicked in for nothing loss. So I'm kind of out on Bochum, especially on the road. But with Bremen, not sure how motivated they are to win this game. Also kind of staying away. So are you doing something here?
Yeah, no, no, I'm also gonna skip this one.
All right. Next up, Freiburg hosting Hoffenheim. Freiburg wins set at 1.95. Hoffenheim wins set at 3.8. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Freiburg bounced back and with a good win at Gladbach last week. They're sitting sixth right now, so they could hold on to that Conference League spot or even get up to the Europa League. And if they're lucky, things fall their way. They may even sneak their way into the top four. Unlikely, but they could. Hoffenheim, 8 points clear of Heidenheim, so not really in danger of falling into that relegation zone. So Freiburg has more to play for. I'm gonna back Freiburg at home, 1.95. Those are some good odds. I like Freiburg. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Freiburg, winning the last game, away game, and now they're playing at home. They really need the points. So yeah, Freiburg.
Next up, Mainz hosting Wolfsburg. Mainz wins set at 2.02. Wolfsburg wins set at 3.75. A line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Wolfsburg kind of on a rough stretch here. Four straight games with a loss, and three out of those four games, the first three out of those four, they didn't even score a goal. All three 1-0 losses. Last week they kind of put up a fight at home against Leipzig, end up losing 3-2. Mainz also not in great form. Four straight games without a win, but at least Mainz is sitting fifth right now. Like we already said it 2 weeks ago, this late into the season, we're really looking at teams that have something to play for, and Wolfsburg are sitting 12th at 38 points. Absolutely nothing to play for. Mainz has something to play for. Champions League spot, Europa League, Conference League, you name it. So Mainz at home at 2.02. You gotta go with Mainz here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not so sure actually. I'm gonna play it safe and going for the over 2.5. Mines, they haven't been so good the last four games also. So yeah, I think they're almost in the same in the same patch at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going for the over 2.5.
All right. Next up, Union hosting Stuttgart. Union wins set at 2.95. Stuttgart wins set at 2.48. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, this is really a game where neither team has anything to play for, number 11 and number 13. So I'm skipping this game. Maybe look at Stuttgart's team total over 1.5 goals because they do score goals, 52 goals scored, 29 games. So, but last week wasn't great for them, a 2-1 loss at Bremen. Before that, they had put up some goals, 4-0 against Bochum and 3-1 against Leipzig. Also in a couple games back, 4-3 loss against Stuttgart, 2-2 against Kiel. So they can score goals. That's about the only thing I'm looking at. Are you doing something?
Yeah, no, 11th and 13th, yeah. And also, if you look at the odds, they're almost level. So, yeah, you know what that means.
Yeah, a draw. All right. Next up, Augsburg hosting Frankfurt. Augsburg wins set at 2.63. Frankfurt wins set at 2.8. 9 goals set at 2.5. Now, speaking of odds that are almost leveled, 2.63 versus
Yeah.
2.8. You know what's gonna happen here. And also the head-to-head matchups between these two teams. Um, we usually see a lot of goals. If you look at the last 6 games, both teams have scored in each game. So I like both teams to score here. Frankfurt being knocked out of the Europa League, sitting third right now. So they have something to play for. Augsburg, not that much, but um, Augsburg at home should put up a tough fight here for Frankfurt. So that's why I'm not backing Frankfurt for a win here, just going for both teams to score. What are you doing?
Yeah, I like the over 2.5, sitting at 1.9. So yeah, I'm both teams to score. Yeah, I still think one of them will win, but can't say which just looking at the odds. So I'm just going for the over 2.5.
All right. Now, obviously, I like both teams to score, and if that happens, the over 2.5 is very live, so not a bad look there. All right. Next up, Dortmund hosting Gladbach. Dortmund wins set at 1.33. Gladbach wins set at 6.75. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we kind of said like Dortmund's out of it, nothing to play for, no chance they're qualifying for an European spot. But now they're only 3 points behind Freiburg. They're also looking up at Gladbach, 2 points behind Gladbach, but for some reason you get 6.75 for Gladbach. Absolutely crazy. I
Yeah,
know, I know Dortmund is a tough place to play, but still they're not that good this season. So I'm gonna play Gladbach plus 1.5 goals, sitting at 1.74. So Dortmund could win this game, but I don't think they're running away in this game, especially with Gladbach also knowing they could still qualify for an European spot. So give me Gladbach plus 1.5. What are you doing here?
Dortmund is. I think they're desperate. Got kicked out of the last competition. They could win a prize. So yeah, like you said, they really want to maybe play the Champions League again. So I'm I'm going for a double chance for Gladbach. With these odds, yeah, you just have to go for a double chance.
Yeah, and Gladbach, they've kind of been the same team throughout the season. So uh, Gladbach could easily win this game outright. Like I said, I know Dortmund's a tough place to play, and you saw what they're capable of against Barcelona if they really put their foot on the gas. But they may have spent a lot of energy in that game. All right. Next up, St. Pauli hosting Leverkusen. St. Pauli wins set at 5.4. Leverkusen wins set at 1.7. Line for goals set at 2.5. Now, this is a kind of a game where I'm gonna wait to see what I'm gonna do, depending on what happens in the Heidenheim Bayern Munich game. Because if Bayern just rolls there, I'm not sure how motivated Leverkusen will be if Bayern kind of struggles. I think it will give Leverkusen a real boost to make sure we can really put the pressure on Bayern and then close the gap to 3 points or 4 points and really make it an interesting last 4 games of the season. I think Leverkusen will win this game, but I'm gonna wait. So right now I have a lean towards Leverkusen. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna go for the over 2.5. You just know they're gonna, you know, try to score as much as possible. So yeah, they're gonna win, and don't know by how much, but I'm pretty sure it will be over 2.5.
All right. Now that wraps up the Bundesliga. We only have the Eredivisie left, but this week only 2 games in the Eredivisie. So right out. let's not wait. Let's attack them quickly. Heerenveen hosting Almere City. Heerenveen wins set at 1.75. Almere City wins set at 5.1. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Almere City, it's getting late for them. Do you think they still have a chance to climb out of the relegation spot?
Yeah, a very small chance, but not against Heerenveen. I think because Heerenveen, they each weekend they start playing a little bit better. Okay, they lost against Sparta, but I think Sparta found their groove the last three games. So yeah, but Almere, no, they're in trouble. So it will be a Heerenveen win.
Yeah, I agree there. And if you look at Heerenveen at home, only lost against Ajax, a 2-0 loss. So Heerenveen's actually been pretty good at home. So I really can see Almere City going at Heerenveen and picking up points. All right, next up, Utrecht hosting Ajax. Utrecht wins set at 3.55. Ajax wins set at 2.12. Line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, Ajax very close to becoming champions. Um, with the season they had, it's actually kind of impressive. Utrecht
Yeah.
also always sitting fourth, can still challenge Feyenoord to climb up to that third spot. Um, it's Utrecht Ajax also has something to it, right? So it could be a very difficult game for Ajax, but you don't want to make this interesting. Like 9 points clear of PSV, you don't want to drop points here and PSV, giving PSV some life, although I don't think PSV really has any life in them right now. But still, you don't want to do that. What are you doing here?
Yeah, PSV, they're playing against Twente the next game, so yeah, it's not one of the easiest one for them. Also, they usually they have a lot of trouble when they play in Enschede, and the same goes for Ajax this weekend. Playing against Utrecht, always a difficult team for them. So I'm uh, I'm a little bit on Utrecht actually. I think Ajax, they'll become champion, but they they're not playing as champions per se, for me. So I'm still on Utrecht, just a gut feeling.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you there. They left it late last week to an close out Willem 2 after going down 1-0. Um, I agree with you. They're not playing like a team that should be sitting at the number one spot, 9 points clear of PSV. And like you said it all. Utrecht always a tough place to play for Ajax, and Utrecht has something to play for. So I'm gonna back Utrecht here, and maybe Ajax suffers their last loss of the season, making a little bit interesting the last 4 games.
Yeah.
All right. Now that wraps up the Eredivisie. Like we said, only 2 games. But we have the cup game, AZ hosting Go Ahead Eagles. So maybe we can touch on that quick. AZ winning sitting at 2, Go Ahead Eagles at 3.65, line for the goal set at 2.5. Now, listen, I like Go Ahead Eagles here because I really like what I've been seeing from them for the last couple of weeks. Not so much for Asset, but games like this, just a one-off, and anything could happen. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I would say the same. I'm also on Go Ahead Eagles. I think Go Ahead, they gave winning two times against PSV, almost giving Feyenoord a lot of trouble. And Asset, is not in a very very good place at the moment. So I'm a Go Ahead Eagles also.
All right. Now that wraps up all picks and leans for the upcoming week. Now we're gonna give a quick recap for the bets we really like. I like Atalanta over 1.5 goals against AC Milan. I like Villarreal to win, Real Madrid to win, Manchester City to win, Brentford Brighton over 2.5 goals. Aston Villa, Newcastle United also over 2.5 goals. Mainz win and Freiburg win. Sergio, what are you doing?
Yeah. Bayer Leverkusen, St. Pauli over 2.5. Eintracht Augsburg also over 2.5. I have Aston Villa City for a win. Real Athletic Bilbao over 2.5. Atalanta Inter and Valencia win.
All right. Now that wraps up all picks and needs, guys. And like we say, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.